Hey everyone, it's Multimedia 7 here to do a SNR message. So, I've been waiting because with the SNRs, with the dream catcher, to like do a little bit of storytelling because I be just observing certain situations and it correlates to the message for whatever. So like it's been a lot of interesting things going on. And you can say that for, you know, pop culture. A lot of things have been going on. Let's see, what have we discussed? Everybody come up in here. So far, we spoke about, in regards to the SNR messages, how it's an interesting parallel dynamic in regards to the timeline of P. Diddy's having significant people come and testify against him in court at the same time that Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez situation was going on. I spoke about a week prior to Diddy having these females testify against him in regards to, sexual misconduct, physical abuse, that Megan was notified that there was new information in regards to the Tory Lanez case that has already been, he was sentenced and everything, and now new information came where they're saying, we don't know for sure, this is allegedly, that he'll be able to be released based on new information that's found that was trying to, Megan Thee Stallion a liar. And it sounds interesting. It sounds like conspiracy, like, wow, like what would one thing have to do with another thing? The Megan Thee Stallion, the Tory Lanez, the P. Diddy court case and testifiers have nothing to do with each other, allegedly, right? It's just ironic how those things are like, in the sense of when I say parallel, a man being going under trial. And in a spiritual sense, it's like going under judgment, you know? And what we see happen to Mr. P. Diddy, Mr. Sean Combs, in regards to this court case, is going to show a lot about how God feels about the situation. And what I'm saying, why I'm mentioning, Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, previous court case and trial, is because there was a lot of controversy surrounding that, court case. And I say a lot of times when it comes to these celebrities and their court cases, public perception plays a big role in it, even though, a lot of people don't want to, believe that, but you can see it. When Megan Thee Stallion had that incident happen to her, you know me. I don't take sides if it's a going on in the background. That's when I see too much. When it comes to them celebrity court cases, if there's too much confusion going on, where you don't know a definitive answer of yes, this person did this, or no, this person did this, I'm on my business and I let the people in charge of them cases figure it out. Because when Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez had that incident, God forbid, it was a lot of speculation. I felt bad for Megan, because a lot of people want to really say it. When it comes to any form of abuse, regardless of what anyone has to say, when it comes to civil rights, like, women are kind of in the forefront and are leading for that. I'm sure that more women was advocating for civil rights than men. No shade. You need the men to get them documents signed into Parliament. In regards to women's rights, you go to the woman, they usually side with the woman. It's a known fact. Men talk about it, and it's so interesting because you can go listen to that message. I believe it's on either YouTube or Patreon, where I was talking about double standards. So Women are upset with men for having double standards in regards to certain things and who they are, and then you know how this generation is, and but then when you think about the double standards that a woman has, you know, you kind of work more to our favor. No shade. So from what I've seen of the Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez court case previously, you know, no one. Tory said he didn't do it. The best friend Kelsey went missing in action for a very long time, doing an interview at an interesting time. After there was alleged, Megan had alleged that she was offered $1 million to keep quiet. After Megan alleged that he offered the same deal to Kelsey. The court case went on. After the court case and this man is in jail, that is when Megan Thee Stallion's bodyguard then decided he wanted to be honest, I'm not sure if it's Megan Thee Stallion's bodyguard or somebody else that was in that vehicle, some bodyguard from the situation. Now they wanted to speak up. Where was all this energy, before this man got incarcerated? Like, with Tory, it's so interesting. And, Megan is managed by, Rock Nation. That is Jay-Z. Jay-Z is married to Beyonce. You know that they were a recurring theme. Like, people, I ain't gonna hold you. People are scared of Beyonce and Jay-Z, and maybe for rightful reasons. I'm gonna mind my business on that, They're very... I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I always love Beyonce in regards to who she is. Ooh, girl, I know how to glamour spell on you. I ain't even mad at it. I ain't even mad at it. If you know, you know. Excuse me. I'm hearing a force to be reckoned with. So, I'm just doing a quick narration summary of what we've been talking about before I get into what I need to say. So, I ain't gonna hold you. A lot of people are a little, I don't want to say terrified, but people, like, you know that phrase, put respect on my name? Like, that couple, Beyonce and Jay-Z, like, that is basically the vibes. So, I'm saying this for a reason because of what I'm going to say in a few minutes. So, like I'm saying, Jay-Z manages, Megan Thee Stallion. So, in some interconnected way, you wouldn't think, but he is kind of tied to the Tory Lanez situation because as a prominent client, Megan Thee Stallion, as she was in court case with Tory Lanez, PR has a lot to do with that. So I'm pretty sure they had a lot of information in regard and resources for Megan Thee Stallion to win that case, but a possibility of other things. And people already know how Beyonce gave it up. Allegedly. So, Jay-Z then, with, sexual assault allegations against him right in the during being subpoenaed the P. Diddy case where he had to publicly testify and say that he's not friends with P. Diddy, and then all of a sudden that scandal went away. Now, as soon as women are coming to testify against Diddy the same week, Tory Lanez gets stabbed up. Week before that, the information was given to Megan. And why I'm saying all this like this is because it's a parallel. Even two of the situations have nothing to do with one of each other, and it's just a coincidence, right? See how God is like kind of showing a perspective. God forbid, because all of it is alleged. Ooh, God is saying, I'm hearing tramp stamp. I'm hearing tramp stamp. I don't know what that's reference to. I wanted to say something about a backstabber, but I'm going to mind my business. Take the message I read, excuse me. So, the perception is, a lot of people's on Megan's side to, oh my goodness. A lot of people's on Megan's side to, dang, they want me to get this message up. In regards to that court case, but at the longer the court case took, people were looking at her side because as more information was coming out, it looked like there was more to the story. I never said that didn't happen to Megan. She shouldn't be within her right to get justice. But you're going, if you're doing things a certain way, then it's like all right. So, it's just interesting. But the parallel people allegedly claim, especially with the new information coming out that Megan's a liar. We're gonna get into that in a little bit. So it's just interesting because like with the whole P Diddy case. I'm sorry, I had to put my charger on here. Like it's a meeting in my bed. Like somebody, something about sexual intercourse. Like somebody wanted to like get in bed with somebody, or it could just be like the symbolic phrase and meaning. Mm. It's just interesting that parallel because like now the person that Diddy is no longer friends with Jay-Z is on trial for a lot of nefarious things. Like because like honestly, the person who was claiming that Jay-Z sexually assaulted him, whatever the case may be, allegedly previous. That person could have been paid off. But it's so interesting because like all the person said was like that the woman was claiming that Jay-Z sexually assaulted him that way. But when Diddy stuff started unraveling, we saw a lot of wild charges placed against him. Like necromancy is crazy. The wearing the hijab is wild. The baby oil, it's a lot. It's a lot going on with that. And these men who came to testify against Diddy stereotypically were made to look like, if not in the same category as Diddy. And while maybe good people, maybe bad people, maybe be to the same standard as Diddy, who knows? That's only for, certain people to judge. It's just because it's like the whole case is based around Diddy throwing those infamous Diddy parties. And to judge the people who are trying to, tell their truth, not only be a witness to, but testify in regards to gaining justice for not just themselves, but other women. It's ironic. Because, like, the whole case is based around these Diddy parties, and it's like, the name of the parties has that man's name in it. They did not, I very much doubt that these women came individually or together. Was like, let's make these big parties where we do all these nefarious sex acts, including watching men do homosexual acts. I'm pretty sure no woman came up with the idea. But yeah. So in the previous SNR message, I don't think it was the last one, but it was the second to last one. Either way, what happened was I was talking about Chris Brown and Rihanna and how they were, so how you see Beyonce and Jay-Z, Chris Brown and Rihanna was supposed to emulate something close to that. Sometimes relationships don't work out, but the way their relationship was interesting because Chris Brown and Rihanna, like, just by themselves, singularly, just by themselves independently, I can't even say they are like a force to be reckoned with. And you see, like, Rihanna, she not, like, I'm not gonna say she's not making music anymore. Like, she can make music if she wants, but she kind of went her own path. And she had to go through a major humiliation ritual. My ad wasn't because of Chris Brown, but because of her family. Let me, no shade, I gotta clock it. Because as a concerned parent, if you know your child is of a certain has a certain type of ranking message, you know, and if you know you're not accustomed to a particular lifestyle that your child has and they're a celebrity, like I don't remember how, but I just remember in the news report, this was years ago, when pictures were leaked of Rihanna after Chris Brown had physically attacked her. It They were leaked by her parents. I don't know who they sent it to, because honestly, I'm pretty sure parent has, I don't really know how, different laws are in regards to different states and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure there's not no 911 hotline send a text message with a picture in it saying this is like, you know. So Rihanna went through that whole humiliation through based on the relationship she actually wanted to be in. We don't really know what happened. I mean, speculations. And you seen what happened with her, you know. I mean, it helped her career in a sense. But when it came to Chris Brown, like, did it stop his career? No. It gave his public perception something different. Made him agitator. Made him seem like, and I don't think I've ever heard anything about Chris Brown's father. No shade. It's always been about his mother. I don't know if he was raised by a single mother or something like that. But it's just like it gives that stereotype, you know, and something that he couldn't really shake off in regards to his career. And you see what's going on with him now. Isn't it ironic that now that Rihanna is with ASAP Rocky and having these babies, Chris Brown is going through another scandal, making him look like the aggressor, the agitator, and stuff like that. But like I'm saying, I have a message on Patreon in regards to my belief that someone in the industry did some voodoo, witchcraft, whatever, on Chris Brown and Rihanna's relationship. Because even after that attack within the relationship, I do not condone domestic violence, but even after they was together, to say Stockholm syndrome, they were still sneaking around. Chris Brown and Rihanna was still sneaking around after alleged, attack. And because of public perception, that's why they stopped their relationship. They was never like not going to stop, but because the industry, because the people didn't understand what's going on. See, like why would someone allegedly, right? Because there's something previous. I can't speak to it. Why would someone get beat on for the first time so badly that they went to their parents? Their parents took a picture of them, leaked the pictures. The whole world see it. You're an international superstar, a celebrity, right? Then you still dating that person in secret and enjoying their company. It's always more story. But like I said, I do not condone domestic violence. But only because the previous SNR message that I did, when I started talking about that, the live ended. So I was like, we was really getting to something. So if you want to go watch the previous SNR messages, I suggest you do that. Now we at the 20-minute mark. So let me tell you, no shade. Let me tell you what's been going on, because maybe it ties into this message. I noticed it's something about the Sagittarius message that I just did. Oh wow. You know what I just noticed? Oh my gosh. Really? I'm sorry, y'all. No shit. I believe the previous message I just did was Scorpio. The Scorpio message I did, I thought that I kept that energy on me, no shade, because because I was looking at something else and I'm thinking it's the same about Sagittarius, something about Scorpio, because I just did the Scorpio message thinking it was the Sagittarius message. There's some sort of confusion about travel plans, teaching, a teacher, or child, children, a car. There's something going on with that. A prophecy. There's some sort of confusion. So I'll do the Sagittarius message on a different day. But let's keep it focused on SNR. So that's fine. So I won't say nothing about any of this. It's something that's unrelated but related. Maybe I have to get first and then. You see, I got messages. Woo! Something about Aquarius for sure. That could just be a celebrity, a prophecy. So before I start this SNR message, even though, you know. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you what happened. Two instances that happened today and a few days ago. So, a couple weeks ago, you know, I was doing errands. Go to this particular place, right? Because it's local, whatever. And there was this guy that was working at this particular location where I was doing my errands at. And ever since I was going to that particular place, because it was a new retail spot, a weird vibe from this particular guy, and I didn't want to be, you know, I mean, I always trust my discernment. So I got a weird vibe from him. I wouldn't really speak to him. He would always speak to me at that place of retail. But I would kind of, you know, keep my distance because I'm like, something not right with him. I knew the man had to be somewhat attracted to me, and I think that discernment came in. Like, my discernment was telling me this man is really, really attracted to you. That man was significantly older than me. That man also, you know, is not my type. You know, I try to keep my distance. I'll be polite, but I'm always polite for the most part. So, you know, I ain't really think nothing of it. So, that same man, he started trying to flirt. When he would flirt with me, I would ignore him. Like, I'll take the compliment, but I would ignore him for the most part because, like, something in my spirit was like, that man not right. So now I know if I feel like something, I'm gonna just trust my intuition, my discernment. So let me think about somebody. So, woo! So the man was complimenting me, and then it got weirder. So, like, he worked at this particular retail store, whatever the case may be. So as soon as he started flirting with me, I started realizing, like, something else. So I started going to another location. So, like, at a distance. When I say at a distance, like, no way. Like, it was like no way, and it made no sense. So I go run errands. I was doing errands. Ooh, somebody like run. I was doing errands at a different location, like far away, where that man worked at in that retail store, and I'm going through the aisles at this other retail location. I'm not thinking. I see the guy. I see the guy who was flirting with me from the other retail store that my discernment was like, So, like, in my mind, I'm like, should I say anything or not? And I felt like that was projection. I felt like, for whatever reason, that man had saw me before I saw him. No, like, seriously. So, my discernment was like, should I say something to him? And also my discernment was like, no, I want you to say something to him. So I decided I wasn't going to say nothing. So I start seeing him, you know, looking around stuff in the aisle. I'm like, all right, here's my chance. Let me just move around him. As soon as I get to him, first of all, the first thing I noticed is what he was on. This is why I was like, I'm not going to stand. The first thing I see him touching on was like some Pampers or some Huggies and stuff like that. He's at the baby section. I'm just looking like, I ain't no kid. no shade. Um, and like the section he was at was like newborn babies and stuff like that. So I'm like, what the heck going? Like I'm like, like no shade, but it's just like you got a newborn and that you trying to flirt with me. Like ain't nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, my discernment about him was already off. So I was like, ain't something about you. I'm like, so he touching the baby stuff. I'm trying to go around him. Hey, isn't it so that I see you here? So somebody could have a stud. Like you keep seeing somebody in a particular location, and you think it's coincidence. No, and like I don't know. It's something really weird. Like if it's in the sense, like somebody is like going to somebody, like in regards to spiritual work, like where is this person gonna be at today? Can I come in contact with them? Where they gonna be? I'm gonna know. Like somebody trying to have GPS on you or something. There's certain ways to do it, but I ain't think too hard to it. So I ain't really saying anything to him. I just got up out of there. So one day, this is where the story takes off at. Like I go back to that other retail store where I was working at, and I didn't want to talk to him because I was really weirded out. So I put my headphones in. Even hear him, I was acting like I didn't hear him. Like I just put my stuff at the register, and I'm just like, I'm about to go about my business. He gonna service me. I'm trying to get. I'm not like interacting with him at all. The guy, this older man, right? This creepy older man. I just felt like it was something creepy about him. Yo, why? I got my headphones in, so I don't know if the guy thought like she got headphones in, maybe she won't hear me, or she got headphones in, let me just say some wows. I don't know what he was thinking. Dude, man, was like, you got some. He said something like, let me touch it. Like you talking about my breast. You talking about let me touch your breast. Mind you, he had his own place of work. I'm over there, on leisure, doing errands. This man talking. He on the clock talking about what? So something about like sexual harassment at the workplace. So he said like, let me touch your titties or something like that. So I'm just like, I heard him. Don't react because I got the headphones in. Let me act like I ain't hear him. This man then tapped me, tried to take off the headphones around across from the register. So this could be something about if it is in regards to like the sexual assault claims, it could be somebody could have hired somebody, wanted to work with somebody, was willing to pay somebody. This is somebody who pays for like prostitutes and escorts. Somebody who privy to that type of activity, they possibly couldn't be in the same room as a particular person unless they like put some money up or gave a false narrative like they wanted to work with somebody. And the whole time they just wanted to, get somebody in the bedroom with them. But it completely backfired on this op. Let me tell you. So the man was talking, just my titties and stuff like that, and he but my consent. He started asking me. He was like, "Can I touch your titty? Can I touch your titty?" Mind you, I'm at the register. Like, if you don't give me my things, like, I'm looking at him, and I'm just like almost like it. I couldn't even be in disgust because it was just like it was an audacity. I'm like, you don't give me my things or whatever the case may be. I ain't arguing with him nothing, like because like I was so appalled. Like, what? Like, I like this not no guy, and it's interesting because the place of retail that I was going to, it's like a family owned business or something like that, and he is not the descent or nothing of them people that was like owned the business. He just worked there, so I was just like, you really the owners and stuff like that was in there, so like they wasn't that far away. So I'm just like, you really both. I'm not trying to be funny, but The people that own the retail business, excuse me, they're Middle Eastern. If you know, you know. If you would like to purchase my book on Barnes and Nobles, you can read Polygamy Needs Consent, Mentally the Origin of Its Own Religion. So, I was talking about stuff like that. So, I ain't saying that to him. I was appalled because he even asked to even touch my titties or anything like that. So, I'm just like, that's wild. Like, you got work, whatever. I leave that place and I haven't been there in a little while. I went to revisit that retail place, you know. I grab my things, I go to the register. It's a woman. Now it's a woman there. They have a new worker in there. It's a woman. Oh. Because I'm like, that man asked to my things. I'm like, no. Like, I was so appalled. Like, no. It was no. Like, you can't do that. Like, you should know better. I go, like I said, I went back to revisit the retail place after a while. After that occurrence had happened, new working there was a woman, and you know she seemed happy to see me, and she was in good spirits or whatever. But then I look on the desk, it's a obituary picture of the. I kid you not, it was a obituary picture of the guy on the desk. Now, it was so many questions in my mind, and I did not want to be rude. I was trying not to smile. I was. It's so messed up, but so like it's kind of it's messed up. I don't want to laugh about nobody's death and nothing like that. But let me say this. It was so ironic that after that, whatever that was happened, that man's obituary was on that same desk where we had that conversation. I'm looking at I'm looking at it. So I'm like, the first thing that came to my mind. I'm trying to be funny. I'm not laughing at the man's death. I was laughing because I'm just like, how did y'all come in contact to even get this man obituary picture? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm like, damn, did y'all go to the funeral? Like, what? And then I was looking at it. So I'm asking the person, I'm like, when did he die? And they were telling me, they were like, oh yeah, he died last week. I hadn't been to that retail location like a week or. So I was like, dang. Like, I'm like, dang. Something about that channel message, so dang. Something about a channel message I got online is someone wanted to be you and almost died or something like that. That's one of them. Yo, looking at the obituary picture I seen the date that he died was just a few days ago. I was just like, dang. So, and it's interesting because I was asking the woman at register like about this creepy guy that had just died, and the obituary picture was on the desk. She was looking like, why are you asking me that care about? Like, the way she was responding, because I was asking about this guy, it was like, yo, we do not care about him. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, how did you get this obituary picture? Like, it was crazy. And I was just looking like, wow. Like, she was just like, asking me about him. Like, there's a more on it for somebody. And then today, right, doing some errands again. And it's interesting. So I had to go. I wouldn't say an altercation. There was this Leo, but not a man. There was this Leo that I used to know. There was an interesting thing that happened. Like, this person, I kind of knew they're prone to anger, but there was a situation happened that did not call for this person to be so agitated. But everybody has their own vices. Everybody is not the same in temperament and behavior. But because of the situation, I don't know what the situation was, but because of the situation, like, the person started going off it was at like, when I say it was at where none of that should have been going on, this person just started like I, like, it was so uncalled for. And I could have not said anything to this person, because you know sometimes when people, they in emotions, they get angry, they say stuff they don't mean, or you would like to believe sometimes people don't say what they mean and stuff like that because they're coming out of instead of a good place. Usually, you know, I just let people do them, you know, function within their own emotions. But because of who the person was being agitated towards, it was very uncalled for. So I spoke up, spoke my piece in the most polite way. Honest to God. The way I could have addressed that person based on the situation, I could have been wilding myself. So interesting because we were surrounded by authorities. So I was just like, this person getting agitated at something else that they shouldn't be getting agitated for, causing the whole scene. But if I would have caused the scene, the authorities would have been like, what happened? So I'm politely telling this person, I said, you know, you need to, I know people don't like to sit here, calm down the center. I'm like, it's not that serious, you know. I will apologize. Like, this had nothing to do with me at the same time did. So I'm just like, I will apologize for that person. I'm telling the person, I understand why you're upset. But due to the scenario and situation, you know, just... But I ain't said all that. At first, I was being very polite. I ain't have to, though. So I'm like killing with kindness or something like that. So I'm just like, yo, like, you're wilding or whatever like that. Even, and it's funny because the person was with another... it's so interesting because, you know, I spoke about the Bad Girls Club reference in regards to this new generation. Like, Jayla, music season of Baddies or whatever, was showing, like, the different levels and standards in regards to the Baddies, Bad Girls Club, in regards to, you know, public perception, acceptable, not acceptable in regards to being ladylike. You got women out here portraying that baddies, bad girl, you know, mindset and characteristics. And then when a real woman comes to the picture, they don't know how to comport themselves. It was so interesting because the person had another lady with them. And when it was going off, this person was looking at them. This is somebody that I know that, like, has been around that Leo, seeing this Leo act out of character, more in their masculinity and stuff like that. I was shocked to see this person acting the way they was acting in this scenario. And then when I came to the situation, I was being a woman, a lady first, and I'm just like, you know, being polite when I didn't have to, but I understood the emotions of the other person. To know that, you know, when you see a woman upset and raged, whatever like that, the first thing you don't want to tell them, as a woman, I know, you don't want to tell them, calm down. You're acting irrational. You start saying that, they gonna turn up some more. So I'm just like, apologize for that person, but it's not that serious. You know, I understand your emotions. That person still was going off. That's when I caught myself, but at the same time, I'm like, let me chill. I'm like, because I was just like, leave it alone. Sorry, about to turn up. And when I person muted the fuck up. No shade. So I thought that same person today. So now this weird energy because, all right, I realized in regards to sexuality, right? There's something about women and this masculine energy that is like, first the masculine energy in regards to women was in regards to business. Go do a whole side rant because of this. Women and their masculine energy in regards to business. That is what this the population of America has been talking about the previous decade. Why these women, or generation, might I say? Because they're like, why are these women acting so masculine? Why all these women want equality of pay and all this? That's where that masculine energy was coming from. Because women's rights, it not in regards to your home life, in regards to business. That's where that masculine energy was coming up. That's where that independent woman stuff was coming up from. That was that. But then you got that other characteristics, the baddies, the Bad Girls Club characteristic, trying to be popularized in women, making them masculine. or teaching them how to be masculine. And it didn't start from Baddies Bad Girls Club. It's just an example of how a certain stereotype of women be acting. And it's not just minorities. But, you know, it kind of is portrayed from that category. I'm just saying. So like I was saying, there's something about women, right, in regards to being in their masculinity, right? Besides the business aspect where it should be generally focused on, now they want to use that characteristic in regards to, you know, their mentality, their characteristics, and what I think about that because, you know, the reason why I use the Baddies Bad Girls Club scenario example for this message is that I realized that it's some kind of, if you can't beat them, join them type of thing going on, and Baddies brand on Zeus Network shows that. You can or Naz TV or whatever the case may be. I don't watch Naz TV. I do not subscription for Zeus, but I still watch the show. I ain't gonna hold you. I would be the guy. It's entertaining. Excuse me. I'm realizing that these women that are in their masculine energy, right? They assert their dominance on other women to feel superior. This is without putting hands on anybody. There's women that assert their dominance on other women, want to make them feel lesser than, so they can feel superior by intimidation. And when that don't work, because they come across somebody else who had that same masculine energy or whatever, then it becomes a problem, and then it turns physical, and then they, you know, they fight and whatever. Baddies Club, Zeus Network type. In my life, I'm too cute for that. I will not resort back to my old ways. Now, and what I notice all the time is that after these women do their little rumble, have their little argument, whatever, assert their dominance, masculinity instead of feminine vibes, they then have some sort of attraction with. What is up with women fighting other women, then all of a sudden now they can be friends and now they want to each other cooter cats. It's like they're looking for this masculine energy that they're exerting in another woman when it should be coming from a man. No, I don't know who needs to hear that. But anywho, so like I said, so that situation with that Leo happened previously. Since later, so now every time I see this person, I don't see them all the time. Every time I see this person, it's this weird energy like love hate or something like that. It's like, oh, like I don't like you because like the person this was acting like, oh, like you now it's a problem. But it was never a problem. It was just like, you know, some women don't understand what it's like to have a lady or woman, you know, not only speak up against injustice, but you know, able to tell you when you're right and when you don't have to take the information, the criticism to heart in the sense of like, oh my gosh, like this person's attacking me. No, you can be genuine. You can tell when somebody's not. But some people have not come in contact with characteristics like that before, so like it's understandable. So now when I see this woman previously, like it's like she gives this vibe of like, oh, I don't like you. It's a problem, but it's not a problem. I'm not gonna. You're projecting something that's not going on. And then another side, it'd be like, oh, I can see it in her eyes. And oh, like you tried to mute me. You tried to tell me be quiet. You tried to tell me I was wrong. Ooh, I'm turned on. Ma'am. So I saw the same woman today, and ironically, she was with a man of the LGBT community. So she had her, you know, her cannabis. She's trying to, so I seen her. I smiled. She seen me. She started smiling. I could tell she's, what was so ironic is this man of the LGBT community, he seemed familiar, but I don't know him. So this is her friend or whatever the case may be. and we saw each other see each other basically from a distance. I smiled, she smiled. My smile is like, it ain't no problem. Her smile is like, you talking but I could tell because like the way she was looking, she started puffing her cannabis. Remember that reference I was talking about in the previous message? Pants up, hoes down. Woman had that song when she seen me. I don't know what made her think like that was. I don't know. I don't know if she tried to be intimidated. I don't know. But I could tell that she was talking to the her friend of the LGBT community because actually she just smoke. She said something to the guy. The guy immediately turned, looked at me, and he started worried. Now, you would think because of the person who it is, you would think he'd probably be worried because like she's very much like bigger in size than me. No shade, very voluptuous. I have like a little petite thing going on, but I got weight on me. But it's never an issue. So I start looking. So I'm smiling. Then she's smiling at me. But as she getting closer, I'm seeing her smile is like mad devious. So she's smiling, and it's kind of like one of the situations like she thought I was gonna say something to her, and she was gonna say something to me. Or I don't know. That man, this is a reoccurring theme in my life. That man took one good look at me. He was like, oh nah. He started escorting her away from me. I'm like, regular. It's something someone else don't know. Like, I'm not gonna hold you. That person could have previously, termed as, I wouldn't even say dangerous, something to that extent. Something lesser to that extent. But the fact that man ain't know me from a can of paint, no shade. It was like, no, what you want? Can you please escort yourself away from her premises? Like, because it happens more often than you think. They're like, a man, regardless of what their sexuality what their sexuality, they know a real woman when they see one. A man, regardless of how they was raised, when they found out what their sexuality was, whether homosexual or heterosexual, they are still raised in a certain way where you are a lady. A woman who's all into that, whatever, BS, they mingle with a certain type of characteristics similar to themselves. A lady doesn't have to. So, that man knew, yeah, you're not going to mess with her. Like, that is a lady right there. Like, what? He said, if we gonna move on. And I found it so funny, but what was so ironic is like, she was puffing smoke in my face. Cause like, all right, so is this some type of illusion? It's something about an entertainer, a woman entertainer, who has a gay bestie that tried to help her get out of the situation because they were being malice. It was so interesting. Blowing smoke, like she trying to blow smoke in my face, but where I was leaving a location where they had they had all these sharp objects and stuff like that, and she was just walking into it, and I was just like, isn't that ironic? And the man who was telling her like go around her, leave her premise and stuff like that, like don't say nothing to her, whatever, was leading her towards the sharp object. Was crazy. Somebody could have wanted to stab somebody, thinking they would slick, end up getting stabbed themselves. No shade. Like somebody wanted to do something to you, be funny with you, and they was walking into a very dangerous situation. Alright, it's already 51 minutes. Let's get into the SNR message. So this message was created on Sunday, May 25th, 2025 at 1:01 a.m. at 79%. And then revised on Monday 2nd, 2025 at 2 a.m. at 32%. Something about a Leo, zodiac sign and embodiment. Something about introspection, looking inwards, reviewing a few things. The phrase previously or to be continued is very significant. Something about the Cancer zodiac sign or embodiment, the emotions of a mother. So something about a mother figure. It could be an entertainer in the entertainment industry at that. Significant change, spiritual, manifesting into the physical. Dream download synchronicities. Something about this year, the month of January, very significant in regards to a Scorpio sun sign placement or embodiment. In regards to a group, a secret, keywords, value, and worth. Trust your intuition about two events, situations. The channel message you can refer to on my channel is God showed you something like God showed you who your enemies are, and now He's showing you their demise. Luck and fortune in regards to your seventh house placements, in regards to your partnerships, whether romantic or platonic. Something about gifts or philosophy or communication in regards to a Gemini zodiac sign or embodiment. Something you might see online. So it's so ironic because remembered, right? So after that situation happened with the Leo, and she got led to the sharp objects, led to her demise, I guess. Symbolic. One moment. To go do errands in a different location. Soon after seeing this person, I saw somebody within the community that I know, somebody I used to call I guess we'll call a little big brother, and he bout that. So when I seen him, I was like, oh, all right. So I'm like, that was like spiritually God to me, like, don't worry about it, it's gonna be handled. I was like, he because even when somebody think you by yourself, you're not by yourself. Not if you got God. And something. This is why I tell people don't play with it. Don't mess with me because I have specific prayers. Archangels can literally body jump into anybody they want and hand you your own justice. You don't got dang. So when I seen that person, it's so interesting because this is somebody like I don't mind speaking to. I looked at him, he looked at me, we saw each other from a distance. And it was like this head nod. I'm just like that. So I'm just like, but like I knew it could kind of be dangerous. So I was just like, all right. Because what I was doing, I was like, all right, let me go to another location because I don't want to have that energy upon me, whatever, right? But like I said, it's not issue. So sometimes when it's the anointing that certain people have on their life, you do something to them, say something to them wrong, they don't got to retaliate on you. There's other people who will retaliate on their behalf because you're not going to touch the anointed. You're not going to talk down the anointed. You're going to talk bad about the anointed. I seen him. I was just like, all right, I already know what time it is for that person. So I was like, all right, bet. Because it was just so ironic. Because this somebody I don't be seeing. So then I went to a different location. As soon as I left the location, I seen the other person that I ran into another person. This somebody that very, very much is infatuated with me. Been infatuated with me for a long time. And I also know this person be kind of dangerous himself. But the significant, it was the person was like, oh hey, the person was holding some tobacco. When I seen tobacco, I was like, but it wasn't lit. So I was like, all right, no smoke. But I was like, but the person like basically came to me like I said, like archangels will send you, God will send you certain people on your path, and symbolically or like they're here to defend. So it was like the guy came up, he's like, oh my gosh, I ain't seen you. This is somebody I ain't seen in like a long time. He's like, I ain't seen you in so long. It probably been like years or something like that. Still infatuated with me, regular. I'm just like, I'm looking at it at the time like, I'm like, thank you God, because even if I'm not interested in the person or people, whatever like that, you learn to know how to take a compliment. A man values your beauty, your worth, whatever. You just thank God. And thank you God. I went outside, did some errands, came in contact with people, who knew me. That's how I'm thinking about it. But as I started thinking about the situation, I'm just like, dang, like this a man that do not play about you. I'm speaking about myself, but I'm just saying. If you're part of American Heritage Society, Psalm 91 and all that good stuff, you know what I'm talking about. So that was that. So channel message reads something about a man, possibly entertainer of African American descent. Something about the zodiac signs and embodiments of Sagittarius and Aries. Sagittarius has to do with parent teacher travel, Aries business. So that can be in regards to what I was talking about. That man. That man wanted to but I ain't gonna hold you. It was an African man. But somebody could be somebody. It could be somebody. All right, if it's in regards to because Aries, so like, if it's in regards to like business, like somebody could have been, or if you want to do chaos magic or whatever the case, somebody could have been into some chaos magic. If you're talking spiritual sense, and in order to do this chaos magic, they need to go to a practitioner, or they had to do it themselves, and whatever they was doing in regards to spirituality is of African descent. Are you following along? So whoever they was praying to, whoever they trying to manifest from, was from African descent, and not knowing the person that they was trying to do whatever they were trying to do to in a negative aspect, got that ethnicity or lineage within them. So it just backfired. Like, I'm not trying to be shady. I'm just using for example. Beyonce, she's very much into African spirituality. Saying it's her. I'm just saying. I'm gonna say my piece on a few things in a second. So like, I'm not saying so. I'm just saying, just peep game. Sagittarius did. So it could have been what I was talking about earlier before. I'm gonna just keep going with the message. How a mother figure was, all right. Something about a man, possibly an entertainer of African American descent, Sagittarius, zodiac sign, and embodiment, very significant, looking into a situation concerning themselves. Something about, so what were the two talking about? Basically, sexual harassment in the workplace, and also envious, jealous women who sexual. How a mother figure was feeling about a situation. A dream, something about a dream you had year of 2025, very significant. In the month of January, you might have a dream in the month of January. It was in regards of either a Scorpio, a hidden group, the occult, a fraternity, or a sorority. If you want to, you can go watch my Streamer Universe SNR message on Patreon. Link in the post section. Something about someone who's very influential and worth a lot of money. Something Illuminati or Illuminate is very significant. I'm telling you, go check channel message. God shows your op. God, you ask God. It's something. It's a channel message I downloaded. You ask God to show you something, and then God shows you your demise. Something like that. There's a channel message like that on my platform. Something about in regards to somebody's business. It could be something personal, trying to be all up in your business, be nosy. In regards to, someone that's like can help. Somebody trying to be nosy about. It's interesting because I was just watching Basketball Wives, and there's this song about Jennifer who got married to that man Christian, and his aunt the guy's aunt having beef with Evelyn, and then you would think the aunt was thugging or something like that because you see how old these people is, so you probably would think like the aunt is older, and she looks like a pretty decent age, maybe somewhere between 40, 50 or something like that. No shade, I don't really know her age, so I'm just paraphrasing. And she was Twitter thugging with Evelyn to defend her nephew. One moment. And when she actually appeared, she was like, I've been looking for her. I didn't ask her to drop the Addy. She said, I'll be here another week. Where this a elder lady. But no shade, because the show do got a lot of women that's kind of old. No shade. Older, I'll say. So these women that be on these reality TV shows that be acting the damn fool, they knowing they like not at the age where they should even be doing that or showing the youth of any variation. That's how a woman should act. And then you got this elder woman, you know, who was Twitter thugging. At first, I'm gonna hold you. My perception was like, oh, they just doing this for TV. She ain't not really talking like that. But when she pulled up, she was like, where she at? Drop that. She said, drop that ad. This a old woman talking about drop that addy. Then she started talking about where she's from. I'm like, all right, it makes more sense. Like she's from the southern or something like that. I think she said Tennessee and Alabama or something like that. She said something like that. I know she said Alabama for it, so I don't know. So I'm just like, dang, you know. And then like, you know, even though Jackie from the show, she's very, very messy. She likes to like instigate certain stuff. She, she could have been trying to instigate stuff, but she was trying to mediate. And I ain't trying to hear none of that. She said, she did research on my nephew. She said I did research on her. She knew the gynecologist. So I'm like, and that's how everybody else was like, because it's just like, yo, this older lady was talking mess. So I'm just like, dang. So there's some sort of variation. The reason I brought it up is some sort of variation. Like somebody was trying to all up in your business. Somebody trying to figure out who you sexing on. Somebody trying to figure out how your health like. Somebody want their health to be like yours. Cause that was been a theme for like the previous 2 to 3. Like somebody see you in good health. They want to have good health like you, but the way they going about it is so malicious. They wishing you have whatever sickness they got going on. Like they want to swap. Like, oh my gosh, they got good health. They praying to God. I would hope not. Nobody praying to God like, yeah, swap my health out with theirs. Like who listening to that prayer? So into your business, what you got going on? Jealous, envious, and now all the things they were looking into you about, trying to make fun of you about, trying to discredit you about, it's happening to them in regards to their sex life. And the fact that sex life and health is right there, that means somebody is not in good health in regards to their either sexuality or because of who they're sexually dealing with, it's just not looking good. And I told you that Leo, another Leo embodiment, and that person was of the LGBT community. So like it could be somebody sexing on a gay man. So mad at you. Why are you mad at you? You're not sexing a gay man. I'm not sexing a gay man. So I was talking about this dream catcher method. I've been talking about it for a while. When I had these particular dreams in 2020. I don't know when the Megan Thee Stallion Tory Lanez what year that happened. But when I had these particular dreams in 2020, it was one in particular that I was like, I know for a fact this has something. I think it was right before it. I was like, I know this has something to do with Megan Thee Stallion Tory Lanez situation when I had the dream, but I couldn't really see what was going on. Because remember the dream catcher message I did? The dream that happened in 2020, and I seen a woman on the floor in front of a Spanish restaurant, and it was an Aquarius woman with a hole in her heart, and then the man standing above her was in a black hoodie, had a bunch of acne on their face, and was holding a staff that had a gun and a knife, and was scared. And that's why I was speaking about in the previous message. I was saying, like, you know, in regards to Illuminati, they have like African American Illuminati, like it's like a division or something like that. And I'm pretty sure, see, Sagittarius was mentioned previously. I'm pretty sure Jay-Z is a part of that. Like, it's a question that you would, if there is such a group, I'm pretty sure. And then think about it. Honorable mention, Erica Badu, when she went to that awards show with Summer Walker, and she wore that outfit that showcased her a huge gluteus maximus, and with the hood over her head. It's a story. And in the dream, I'm supposed to even be talking about. In the dream, the guy was holding a gun and a knife. The knife was on the bottom. The gun was at the top. Was that Jay-Z in the dream? Because honestly, if you're thinking about it, right? Megan Thee Stallion could have been that Aquarius because the opposite zodiac sign, Leo, entertainer. But in the dream, I saw the Aquarius on the ground with a hole in her heart, black heart, no blood. Black heart, that could be witchcraft, like dark magic, dark arts. And because that dream taking place at night, Scorpio, Capricorn reference. Make it stand, keep it going. Hear me out. So, someone, all right, I don't know if food was served at that Kylie Jenner's pool party, but if it was, it probably was Latino food. That's all I'm gonna say. And that reference could be like, I was saying previously before about that dream, like if somebody could have been depressed, or peep game. Somebody could have been depressed because the way the lady was laying on the floor, something could have been causing her depression. It could have been some food somebody gave her, Latino descent. It was because in the dream, I'm not going, whatever. And the hole in her heart, there was no blood coming out of it. So I'm like, somebody could be heartless. Then, when your hands standing above her body, dying a black hood I never seen before. His face was kind of puffy, but like it had acne on it and all types of weird stuff. And I was just looking like, person. I thought it was some guy named Emmanuel, but I'm not going to get into it. Then, if the gun was at the top of the staff, the bottom, the allegation was that Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion. And then at the bottom of the staff was a knife, and that's the same knife that was stabbed with multiple times. So if the gun and the knife in the dream represents what happened to somebody, and I'm seeing a woman on the ground, but she's not hurt, there's no blood coming from her. Dream is in regards to Megan Thee Stallion for real. That means possibly Tory was not the one that shot at Megan. Because the gun was what was used to, accuse him. But the knife was also used to stab him. But in the dream, it was narrated like this woman was shot or stabbed. But Megan was supposed to be shot at. But when they were doing the logistics and everything like that, it was very concerning for, public perception. That don't make sense. But, if somebody get grazed or whatever, but getting grazed at close range don't make sense. It took a long time to get to this realization of that 2020. I've been talking about this dream for so long. And this is not what I even planned on talking about today. I'm going to talk to you guys from a dream. I had this dream, I want to say in the year 2022, 2023. How it was narrated was that there was 3 people in the vehicle. A man in front, a woman and a man in the back. The man in the driver's seat, there's a man in the driver's seat, a woman sitting behind the man in the driver's seat, and then there's another man sitting behind the passenger seat. And basically, the woman and the man in the backseat, they was boo loving. Like, they were boo loving. The woman really was on this man's lap. The man in the car had a gun on his, in a holster on his, like, and I'm telling you, this is the dream I had in 2023. The man in the car on the passenger side and back seat had a gun, like, on his waist or something like that. The woman who's sitting in the back seat and behind the driver was like boo loving, she was comfortable, whatever. They boo loved. The driver in the dream wasn't paying attention to the road ahead of them and kept like saying condescending stuff to the lovers in the back. As this was happening, it was like, keep focused, like, drive straight, pay attention to the road. As she's saying this, another car crashed, or it seemed like it was going to crash into the back seat of the vehicle. So I'm like, let me analyze this dream just a little bit more, because especially it's so interesting now that dream about Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, and now knowing Jay-Z was in. I also have another dream that I had that I spoke about before. I might mention it again. I'll save it for another dream catcher. So then I started thinking about it. I haven't looked at things that Megan Thee Stallion previous court case recently enough that, so I won't remember all of the what's it called it, everything, like all the stuff going on with that. So I don't know who was seated where in that vehicle, but I know this dream had something to do with them. Allegedly, I'm just going off. I'm just saying. We know out of everybody in that vehicle, there's 4 people in that vehicle. The driver was in fact God. Right? Either Kelsey and Megan Thee Stallion were both in the back seat with Tory Lanez, or hypothetically, Kelsey was in the front seat with that bodyguard, and Megan was in the back seat with Tory Lanez. Hypothetically. Because like I said, it all depends where everyone was seated. Based on the dream, and based on allegedly where everybody was seated, based on my dream, like I said, something about the bodyguard being distracted. Now, why would the bodyguard be distracted? Because obviously, I'm pretty sure these bodyguards of security, celebrities and stuff like that, they, like, if a celebrity couple is in the vehicle, I'm pretty sure they boo love in the back. This bodyguard is not going to be like, oh yeah, what's going on back there while they driving? There had to be some sort of argument coming from the back seat for them to be distracted and be so invested on what was going on behind him. Now, like I said, in the dream, the woman was laying on a man's lap who had a weapon, a gun on him. That in 2 ways. That could be the woman who was in the back seat. I'm assuming that it's Megan Thee Stallion, was dick riding. But why would she be dick riding? If it wasn't dick riding, she on his. And that's just a phrase like, she on him. Like, so, calling him out for something. She either was like boo loving and like, oh yeah, this my man, this my man, this my man. Actually, should at the time, or she was on him like, you did this and you did that and da 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 da. I don't know about you, but I've seen Aquariuses in action, especially female Aquariuses. They do be like that, and Meg do that embodiment of a Leo for real. So. And Leo, the opposite sign of Aquarius, so like, when Meg is good, she's friendly, and she seems sweet and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure Megan Thee Stallion, she got to make her like, not be sweet, not be, so nice. If Kelsey was in that passenger seat, she might not have been. But if Kelsey was in that, then she'd be parallel to the driver. So she was parallel to the driver in regards to the dream. I'm saying allegedly. I don't know if she was in, I'm just talking about what I seen in the dream. That means she'd be parallel to the driver. So that means she has something to do with the situation that was going on in the back seat. And as was said in public, for public knowledge, that, we didn't find out later that Kelsey was dating or dealing with Tory Lanez. Why, if at the time, if Megan Thee Stallion did not know that Kelsey was previously or currently dealing with Tory Lanez, she was with her man, and everything was supposed to be good, how did Kelsey get, a lot of backlash from this whole incident? Because about third-party interference, parked car conversations, Something about drive-by, insider trading, info, negotiations. The guilty person left immediately. Whoever left that crime scene first got some going on. Because, like I said, allegedly Megan stated that Tory not only came to her but went to Kelsey in regards to $1 million bribe. That's $2 million. Megan said she didn't take the bribe. Kelsey remained quiet, so we assumed that she took the bribe. Hello? Oh, we good. Are you at work right now? Oh my gosh. No, it's all right. I was gonna call on you and stuff like that. Wait, are you on break? How many more minutes on break do you have? Yeah, I'll call you right back. Give me like 10 minutes if you can. Alright, thank you. You can't make this up. Leo just called me. Leo woman just called me. Talking about they depressed. You cannot make so and you see like the interference, like, oh my gosh, Leo woman just called me. Not a man. Just not the video for that. Alright. No shit. I don't want to put that person business out there, whatever. Not, I know that person really didn't talk to me, and I understand why, because there was a prophecy that was given indirectly, but we're not gonna get to that. You know, help my clients out, and they're gonna, and I, you know, God blesses me. So my analyzation of what could have happened was from the dream. Meg was all over Tory, while realizing Tory was lusting for Kelsey in the vehicle. Mind you, Meg already has said and insinuated that you know, Tory was kind of friendly at the party. So she already was feeling some type of way about that. But her friend? So, and you know, in the vehicle, she started getting agitated. She started antagonizing them both. This is where I feel like Kelsey plays up, because whether she said anything or didn't say anything, or was dating him before or wasn't him before, sex with him before or wasn't sex with him before, you know, once she was in that vehicle, that, you know, Tory was, he probably was giving lustful looks at, whether she was in the front seat or in the back. That set her off. She started going on. Now, the information is so juicy, no shade, no pun intended. Information is just so wild. The driver is so distracted, he can't even drive for real. He looking around to see what's going on, because things were getting hot and heavy. Huge conversation. You wonder why that bodyguard was never mentioned until after the court case. So with the bodyguard paid off? He said he wasn't paid off. So why did he mind his business so long? This so I had another dream where a woman came into a room, saw a man sitting with an Aquarius on his lap. The Aquarius, something wasn't right, like something looked like it was wrong with her. So I never really understood what the dream was about. And the man, he was smiling at the woman who had came into the vehicle. Why I say vehicle? Because spiritually, you know, that type of furniture, you know, so it was a man's vehicle. I don't know if it was the man's bodyguard, but it was the man's vehicle. I don't remember who the bodyguard was assigned to. The man was looking at someone else. The man wanted to have sex with someone. That woman that sat on his lap was Aquarius, right? And so like she wasn't right with her, right? Allegedly, based on this dream, both dream narrations, I believe Megan Thee Stallion, during that pool party, was on her period. I believe that Megan Thee Stallion was on her period, so Tory couldn't have sex with her, and Tory was already lusting after Kelsey to begin with, so he could have he could have been lusting after Kelsey, and Megan Thee Stallion paid attention, and she just went on. caught him in the act. And that's where everything went up. This is like a lover's quarrel. I believe that even if Megan Thee Stallion did not know that Kelsey was sexing on that man previously before, or dating him previously before, I believe while in the relationship dynamic of Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, they were together, Megan had caught Tory Lanez, lusting after her photos in a certain type of way. Maybe like, either he was looking at her profile, online, her socials, or, maybe like they took a picture together some way, somehow, or she was like, oh yeah, this is my friend, show them a picture, and then like, ever since then, it was, yeah. So whatever happened in that vehicle was all because of insecurity. The phrase "a distraction" very significant. The number 7 very significant. Seventh house placements of them is very significant. 1 week before Diddy's accusers' testimonies, new info to prove Tory Lanez appeared. 1 week of testimonies, Tory Lanez is stabbed multiple times. Something about sex on vacation and a fight because of threesome. So that could also be something like, maybe whether it was said or not said. I don't know. I know during the pandemic, Tory was doing his live broadcast and stuff like that, and people would come visit him to be a part of the live broadcast. This is when Meg and Tory was a thing, an item, a couple. We don't know how Kelsey. I mean, the only way you could probably perceive Kelsey and knew of Tory or came because of Meg, because they were friends. So I don't know if it was a vacation where she was invited to, or you're on vacation. Maybe a conversation about a threesome had been initiated by Tory. Maybe even Meg. You never know. And it just went left. Maybe that pool party, the vacation, or pool party was symbolic of a vacation that was had already. Maybe in that vehicle, Tory could have mentioned something about possibly said Megan tried to use someone else's car to do a ritual using dolls is very significant. I'm not talking about Megan. I'm not talking about Kelsey. Someone outside of that group. In connection to those people be using voodoo dolls. Because Tory already was convicted of the crime. Even pleading not guilty and all that. So what would make someone, after all this time Tory's been good in jail, we ain't hear no bad reports, stab him multiple times like that? And that stabbing is like, the first thing I think about is, because that's what they do. Someone, and that's all the message I have for you guys today. But the last thing I'm going to say, because I said I was going to mention this briefly, right? Go look on my Patreon for the American Heritage Society class message where I was talking about what DDG and Hallie's relationship taught me. It is now coming to the public about how toxic their relationship is. And I've been talking about this, I believe, since summer of 2024. It is now about to be approaching the summer of 2025. It's only been a year. And the first thing I keep thinking is, all right, isn't it so ironic? Beyonce took these two sisters, under her wing to coach them to be the next best thing. Getting these elevator references in the dream state, right? And in regards to Beyonce, we all know that infamous moment where, Solange was kicking her husband butt in the elevator. Then Lane and Becky with the good hair, all them phrases and stuff like that started coming out in the music. But these things have been going on. Now they all caught up with all this stuff in the media. But when it comes to Beyonce and Jay-Z, as soon as something goes in the media in a bad light in regards to them, they do something really quick in regards to PR to, media the situation, make it better. But look at the people around him. I said in that message, I'm like, yo, those people are coached. Those two sisters are coached by Beyonce. They're within that circle. I remember when I was doing that message, it I kept seeing videos of Chloe, because Chloe, out of the sisters of Chloe and Halle, Chloe, you would think, I'm not saying she's the next Beyonce, but in regards to the aesthetic, the dancing, the singing, this new modern, culture, you would think Chloe would be getting more recognition. People were talking about that in the media, like, yo, why is Chloe not as popping as she's supposed to be? And right after they was asking that question on social medias and generally, Beyonce just started putting out projects. Halle started doing The Little Mermaid. And then, like, you just see Chloe here and there. So I knew immediately, I don't want to say it like that, but I felt like, Beyonce could have did too good of a job. But Chloe and Halle, she wasn't having that. Because she didn't want nobody to, like, dethrone her. No shade. But Beyonce, that spirituality stuff, the African spirituality, so I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't went to somebody like, look, there's two girls that could possibly overthrow you. And she just, all right, wrap them up. Beyonce, she be quick to send her agents or whatever like that to go watch people do their choreography and performance so she can incorporate it into her own. No shade, ain't nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying, it's called spade. So, that being said, with this Halle and DG situation going on, I mean, like, on both sides, it's like, because it's just involved, I'm not gonna bring no children into this, but I'm just saying, it's just so messed up. But you notice the people around the Carters, maybe that's why I keep getting that Grove Street reference, or something about Lil Wayne and the Carters, and the actual couple. Very significant. Because, isn't it ironic Lil Wayne was advocating for Donald Trump, and then Beyonce was advocating for Kamala Harris? But I honestly thought it was a PR stunt, and I felt like it was a favor because Kamala had been to Diddy parties before, but supposedly James with Diddy. And you didn't see Beyonce say nothing about Kamala Harris until like a few days before, like, voting. And I'm just saying, so all I'm saying is, all the, like, you see, Chloe's not blacklisted, not getting the recognition that she deserves, while Halle is going through some crazy stuff in her relationship that's being publicized. And the whole time, it makes you think, like, y'all are under, supposedly, Beyonce's domain. Megan is under, supposedly, Jay-Z's domain. And you see what's going on around them? So, kind of, Halle is the embodiment of what really is going on with Beyonce right now. It's a deflection. And then you see what's going on with Megan Thee Stallion. Megan is a woman, even though being managed by a man. Megan went through abuse, allegedly. But it's like something going too far in regards to this man that supposedly abused her with domestic violence, supposedly, right? But the man that's pleaded, like, he not guilty, he ain't do it. We don't know that for sure, but I'm just saying, the man saying he's not guilty, he ain't do it. He didn't got sentenced. You would think justice would be served just then and there. That's supposed to be justice. That's the justice system. So why does he not still be in a place where he can't even get in contact with supposedly Megan Thee Stallion? Why is he getting stabbed up? So something about a betrayal. What did Jay-Z say? He said, I'm not friends with Diddy. And what are people doing to Diddy right now? Stabbing him in the back. Supposedly that's how he feels. Because all them people that attended his parties, they was cool with it. But as soon as it came out to the general public and the media, Soon as people, oh my gosh, this man is weird. Not everybody like, oh no, no. So when you look at the nose, not the nose, when you look at Halle and DDG's relationship, correlate that to Beyonce and Jay-Z, because you know they live a very kind of private lifestyle. And if you want to know what's going on, look at Megan and Tory's situation. It's a lot going on. That's the message. Psalm 91. God bless to the rest. You know all that.